Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, happy Monday. I have a very busy week this week. I'm working on IPPs, which are reports. It's like the first full month back, or at least January was, from like a ton of vacation time for my coworkers. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of reports. And I really need to get through as many of them as I can today because I'm taking tomorrow off to get a tattoo. I have always wanted to get a tattoo. Both of my parents have tattoos. My boyfriend has tattoos, and I'm saying this because it means like my parents don't care. And I'm not just getting like any tattoo. I'm gonna get it on my forearm here, on the inside for my grandpa. Tomorrow is his birthday, and March is the 8th year of his passing. He died when I was a senior in high school during my spring break. My last high school spring break. So we spent it in Texas at the hospital with him as he just got worse and worse, and then after he fell and hurt himself, and when he passed, and he'd been sick for a really long time, so when he did pass I wasn't that upset, but when we were like at the funeral, that's when I really started crying. But my dad said the nicest thing about it, that you know, he passed away in the middle of the night, sleeping in like his hospice bed that they brought him home in, next to my grandma. And my dad said that, you know, it was just the two of them when they started our family, and it was just the two of them when he left. My dad says he thinks that my grandpa waited until it was just him and my grandma, and then he passed away, which I think is really sweet. And my grandparents are literally the love story that I strive to have. They met when they were teenagers, and my grandma says that she was coming home from school and she saw my grandpa working in the fields, and he didn't have a shirt on and his muscles were glistening, and she just was like, that's a man. And even up until he passed away, they used to dance in the living room, and they were just so clearly in love with each other. And I also just feel so bad for my grandmother that, you know, they met when they were teenagers, and it's the person that she spent her entire life with, and she's kind of struggling with that right now, not having, you know, my grandpa around. And it's been a long time, but I don't think it ever gets any easier, especially when you've been together for 50 plus years. So I'm getting a tattoo tomorrow for him. I did a lot of my firsts at my grandparents' house. It's where I learned to tie my shoes. It's where I learned to ride a bike. And it's, you know, where I really fell in love with reading, and where I went camping for the first time and went fishing and caught my first fish. And camping is something that really like has brought Skylar and I together, I feel like, because it's something that his family really enjoys. Oh my god, I just saw this cat go crazy and jump across the fence. It's something that we really enjoy, and I think it makes him happy that it's something that like I like to do, and I'm not just like there like, it's gross, there are bugs. And I mean, sometimes I'm like that, but I still enjoy being there. I just get really bit up by mosquitoes. I'm getting off topic. So I'm going to get like a camping chair, a fishing rod, and a tackle box with his initials on it done tomorrow on my forearm right here, like I said. So I took the whole day off. I'm not worried about the pain. I'm worried about my anxiety. I don't know. I haven't been too anxious about it. After I made the appointment, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm doing this now, but I don't feel super anxious now. I'm gonna make sure that I take anxiety medication before I go, bring my hydro flask with me, bring a snack, bring a book. My boyfriend is coming too, just because it's my first one, and I'm like, if I pass out because I'm so stressed out, you need to be there because I don't know this person. So yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Reading wise, I'm still in the middle of Queen of Air and Darkness. I got to 212 pages yesterday, and is there gonna be like a three-way partnership between Kieran, Mark, and Christina? Because she's having feelings about both of them, and I was not expecting that, but I also kind of like it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna continue listening to that on Scribed while I'm like doing other things, and hopefully finish it this week. I also want to start The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by v.e.schwab this week. I love v.e.schwab, and I'm picking this up mostly because, I mean, I want to read it, but I just upped my membership tier for G from Book Roast, her Patreon, and the book that they read in January was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and they are discussing it on February 8th, which is 7 days from now. I definitely think I can read this in 7 days. So I want to finish it by then so that I can participate in that live stream that she does, I believe, on her Patreon. I'm not 100% sure. I think you can participate just on YouTube, but I want to have read it before then. Those are my only two official book plans for this week, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. Hi, it's Wednesday, which means I forgot to update you guys at all yesterday on my tattoo. So I'm going to show that to you first. I really wanted to, but for my first tattoo, I just had to focus because it's not a tiny little one. It's like my whole forearm, basically. I was really, really nervous. I did a lot better than I thought I was going to, especially like anxiety-wise. Like I was shaking a little bit when we first got seated, but Erin, the girl who did my tattoo, was so nice. She's a mom, and she even admitted, she's like, I mom people who come in here. She's like, if you need breaks. I had the worst allergies also, and I'm still like suffering. I don't know if you can tell that my nose is like raw, but we walked in and it smelled so heavily of weed, and not, I mean, I don't mind stuff like that, but just smoky smells, like the ash that's in the air almost, really, really bothers me. So sometimes candles bother me if they're like not great quality, like they get kind of smoky in the air. So my dad just texted me. I sent him a picture of the tattoo yesterday with no context, and he sends me back, that's his tackle box. And it's true, I did look for a photo that was similar to the tackle box that my grandpa owns that my dad still uses. It's like broken and banged up, but we still take fishing with us. And my dad noticed right away. My grandma is mad, but not like mad. And he texted me, he said, "What up, gangster?" Just because I got a tattoo. But like I said, I walked in there, incense, stuff like that, because there's like smoke or ash in the air. I just had such bad allergies. I kept having to tell her to stop so that I could sneeze, and I held in as many as I could, and then we went up to the front to go take a picture. It's like every sneeze that I had held in just erupted. I sneezed like 10 times in a row while she was trying to get photos. And I'll put up a photo right here of the one that she ended up sending me. I absolutely love it. I'm really happy with it, so I'm going to show you. I wanted it on my left arm, but I guess it just worked better to have it on my right one for the way that the picture was oriented. But this is it. I love it so much. So it's a camping chair, a fishing rod, and a tackle box, and it has my grandpa's initials, CG, for Charlie Heron on it. And I've showed both of my parents. They both are pretty happy with it. I don't really have to worry about them. Skylar was like, "I hope my mom yells at you," because they're not super okay with tattoos. His dad is. He's like, "It's your money, it's your body, you do what you want." But his mom is not, and I was like, "She's not my mom, she can't tell me anything." So it was a really good experience. It was like a 5 or 6 on a pain scale. I've definitely felt worse pain, because, you know, when I had my surgery last year, I was like, you know, had a fever, was like panting, ready to pass out, and this wasn't that bad. The outer bits, here closer to like the outside of my arm and on this side as well, that's where it hurt the most. And then she worked from the bottom up, so she was getting higher. She was resting her hand on pieces that she'd already gone over, and that hurt so much more than the actual tattooing or when she would wipe it off. That was worse for me, honestly. So it was a really great experience. I'm definitely going to go back to her. I didn't get any shading or anything. Originally I was going to. I didn't want to, though. From the moment that I said I wanted to get a tattoo and like have been talking to my boyfriend about it, I have never wanted any sort of dot work or shading in it, and he convinced me to, and she was talking to me about it, and I was like, okay, instead of regular shading, I'll do dot work so that it's really minimal. And I think she could tell that I didn't want it, because she was like, look, if you don't want it, don't listen to anybody else, like whatever you want. It's like, okay, I don't want to do it. Like, maybe I'll change my mind and we'll come back, but I would rather not do it than do it and regret it. So it's just pure line work, and I'm super happy with it. When we got home, we had lasagna and we watched the third How to Train Your Dragon movie. We've been watching them this last few days, and I just love them so much. And I love that John Krasinski, or like Jim from The Office, is compared to Hiccup in like all of the stages that he goes through, from like boyish to a little bit more of like a man to like a full-blown man with a beard. That's like one of my favorite memes on the internet. And after the movie, I started reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm only like 26 pages in. I think that that's like 2 chapters. This book is an, ooh, I almost hit myself. This is an Owl Crate exclusive edition without a dust jacket. I've mentioned I absolutely love books without dust jackets. I'm going to take it off anyways and set it aside somewhere and not put it back on until I'm done reading. So I much prefer this. I also don't just like having loose dust jackets around, because they can get ruined that way too. Very much enjoying it. I can definitely see that it's like a lyrical story in the way that it's written. So it says, Estelle used to call these the restless days, when the warmer-blooded gods began to stir and the cold ones began to settle, when dreamers were most prone to bad ideas and wanderers were likely to get lost. So it's very like fluffy is what I would call it. When I wrote essays for APUS history, we called it fluff. Like, you've got all the important bits in there and then fancy words in between to just get you from point A to point B. And really enjoyed the way that the first 2 chapters were written, so I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy the rest of the book. Good morning, happy Friday. I didn't update you guys yesterday because I hadn't done any reading Wednesday night, so it just didn't feel necessary. But I'm working now. I was work the Friday after I got paid, so I got paid yesterday, which is always exciting. I think it's always going to be exciting. I have like a funky cough and I'm really like congested, or like my nose is running, not so much congestion, but I'm working. My tattoo is healing up. This is like the Sanoderm stuff that's on it, but it's a little muddy. That's what happens. And I did do some reading last night. I am still going through Addie LaRue. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not 100% sure what like the premise of the story is, like the point. Is she going to be like fighting with this shadow of death or whatever? Her stranger to like get her life back? Is it just gonna be, I think it might be her finally finding somebody that remembers her, I guess. I'm only like, I think I'm like 57 or 52 pages in. Like I said, I'm trying not to feel like I have to fill up every moment of my time with doing something. I did a little bit of crocheting and knitting. I made a steering wheel cover for my car, obviously. I think I need to put like hot glue on the back of it to get it to really like stick to the steering wheel, because it's not as wide as the picture that I saw on Pinterest, but that's fine. I don't really mind. I guess what I could do is add an extra border to make each one wider. We'll see. Yeah, I'm just trying not to feel like I have to fill every second of my day with doing something. So I just read a little bit and then I ended up watching a bunch of TikTok videos. And my throat just feels gross today. I keep having to clear it, but hopefully I will get some more reading done tonight.
And I'm gonna have to ask for a night with Kenny G, soft on the saxophone, and then Kanye coming out left field. Hell yeah! Hitting with those paragraphs about himself. None other than Kanye. Since we being real out here, I don't know how I feel.
Hello, it is much later. I got back from my grandparents' house not too long ago. It was nice. It was nice to see a lot of my family. Like I said, most of them I didn't get to see for Christmas, so I gave my aunt her blanket, which she was really happy about. She was like, I saw you posting on Instagram about all these blankets that you were making, and I was really hoping that one of them was going to be for me. And I was like, I mean, I couldn't post about yours on Instagram. I didn't want to ruin it. So I gave her hers, and she really liked it. I got my uncle a framed photo of him and his dad and his son, Billy. They're all William. His dad passed away from COVID, unfortunately. Just before Christmas. He was in his 90s, but it was still really sad. So I got him that framed photo of him and his dad and his son, so like 3 generations of Williams. And he really appreciated it. And I just kind of hung out with my aunts, and we didn't watch the game at all. We sat outside and had dinner. My aunt made beans and rice, and my papa picked up, it's like pork and green chili from I don't really know where. But it was really good, and I got to bring leftovers home with me that are supposed to be for Skylar, but I'm going to have them for lunch tomorrow. I'm just knitting right now. It's about 8:30. I'm trying to finish this section that I'm working on currently, and then I'm probably going to go to bed. Skylar is staying at his parents' house tonight. His dad is on like a guy's weekend, and his mom is staying at his sister's house to help watch the baby because his sister is back at work now, and I think she's just kind of struggling. So Skylar is staying at his parents' house tonight to watch their dog. I think his mom will be home tomorrow. So he's just staying there for one night, and I do miss him already. We are together all the time, so it's just weird, but I'll get to sleep in the whole bed by myself tonight, which I am looking forward to a little bit. But I'm just knitting right now. I reached the 100-page mark in Addie LaRue. I'm really enjoying it. Again, still am not quite sure what the premise of the book is meant to be. It is very like flowery lyrical writing, but I enjoy that. So I'm going to say goodbye now because I'm probably going to go to bed in about half an hour, and I don't think I'm going to do any more reading. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, let me know how your reading's going, what you have planned for February. And if you watched the Super Bowl, I didn't watch the game at all. I think Tampa Bay won, which my dad said was rigged because Tom Brady's on that team and he's retiring, so of course he's gonna win. I don't know. My boyfriend just said the same thing and I was like, my dad said that. Yeah, so let me know how your February is going, how you're doing. Do a mental health check, see how you are doing, check in with yourself. And I'll see you next time. Bye!